Mr. Bowman wanted to say a few things about this existing facility in here.
This room seats 400. Currently we have 480 students in the middle school, so when we have a program, we have students, which is, don't tell the fire marshal, it's not a great thing to do, but we sit students in the hallway, in the aisles. It's packed wall to wall. This is Mr. Bowman's science room, and next door is Mrs. Worley's. It's open as well. As you can see, our science facilities are, pretty dated. Basically, when this room, used to be a high school science lab years ago, and things are really dated. We try to bring in, microscopes and materials and things that we need, but as a science lab for our 7th and 8th grade, it's not exactly up to par. And of course, we could do a whole lot more with the new.
At this building, as all of ours, handicapped accessibility is a problem. We do not have good handicapped accessibility. This particular building, you can come in the 5th and 6th grade entrance, which is at ground level. You can come down to the steps that are behind us. We haven't been there yet. You can't get down here or upstairs where we came without the use of this machine, which is called a stair climber. And we were ready to demonstrate this. It simply climbs with these rubber tracks up the stairs. It's a slow process. I must admit, I broke my leg a couple years ago and came in here in a wheelchair. Steve offered to take me down this little set of steps over here, and I said no thanks. I wouldn't want to be riding. Fire doors in this building contain glass from long ago. It's not up to current code. The glass will not last in a true fire. These fire doors must shut if there's a fire to keep smoke from going through the building. About 10 years ago, the Germantown Fire Department made us put magnetic door holders and smoke detectors on each side of the door so they would shut if there really is a fire. However, if the fire happens tonight, nothing calls in. It's not an automatic system. There's no suppression system. There's nothing that automatic dials the fire department. Piping that you see in here is asbestos. This is something we maintain all the time. On the steam system, we usually have problems with condensate lines, steam traps like this here that used to have asbestos insulation to it. In the building here, in our steam tunnels, it's something that we cannot let go. You can't let your steam traps not work. The system doesn't work right. The boilers get too hot of a return back. The boiler water, instead of being steady, is very violent. We send wet steam out instead of dry steam. And we have
this is our locker room. Boys use this primarily during football season, also sometimes used during basketball season, tournaments and that kind of thing. Behind here, basically is storage, and there's a coach's room back there. As you can see, and I think at one time when we've had flooding issues, haven't we had water in here?
We have, because we are very deep here, and this was an old gym. So there's a gym floor underneath us. So like all gyms, when it gets wet, it buckles. The tile comes up and we have a problem. So this floor has been replaced since I've been here. I remember doing it. It's just one of those problems.
And you can see the locker room in pretty bad shape. I don't know how old these lockers would be, but probably back at least into the 50s, I would think. Maybe earlier than that. This is it. Looks about the same as one. Yeah. And there used to be lockers over there in the next room, but now that's custodian room.
As you start to walk into this building, look up at the ceiling. It's a sprayed-on acoustical plaster that contains asbestos. It is not encapsulated. If I hit this right now with my book and any debris comes down, that's a problem. If it's a school day, we're out of school, just like on October the 5th. 2 months ago. The cost of abatement is so huge we can't even look at that in our budget. It's not possible. This is the cafeteria where the accident was on October 5th with the asbestos. Above this drop ceiling, there's a ceiling just like the hallway. A roofing contractor clogged up a roof drain, came down, cut into the roof drain, cut a 12-inch by 12-inch hole in the ceiling that's above this. That hole and the damage that it did cost him $63,000 to clean that.
The students and coaches wheel those over every day to the other room, and this room is used for basketball usually in the evening.
This room also doubles as latch key. In the morning starting at 6 and every afternoon it's also a latch key. It's also phys ed for Germantown Elementary, which you have to come over here to. When it's being used as the cafeteria, it's a time constraint. I believe you have 15 minutes to clean it. Is that right? When you're done with the cafeteria, set the tables up, sweep the floor, get it all mopped, get it ready for phys ed again in 15 minutes. With the events that's happened in the recent years, from the Amish classroom in Ohio to things that's happened throughout the country, security is always an issue. These particular doors are always open because that building is 4 classrooms. It's 2 preschool classrooms and a music classroom for the elementary and a music classroom for the middle school. That building uses the restrooms that are down this hall. There's 1 toilet and 1 sink out there. The county wouldn't buy that for the amount of people. So to get that used as educational space, we're actually using those restrooms. So not only do the kids have to come and go to use the restroom, class changes or whatever they're doing. So think about where elementary music is as we walk around the path out in the weather of whatever's happening that day going to Germantown Elementary.